That's not you, sir.
What? What did I do? We measure level of interest in what we're doing by the amount of microphones on the podium. So today clearly is one with a lot of interest, rightfully. Good morning, everybody. I thank, as I always do, Transportation Commissioner Diane, yes ma'am, Gutierrez-Gichetti, for joining me today. Let's get WNBC up and running here. Want me to hold it?
No, it's okay. I'm really sorry.
That's okay.
I hold Governor Fox.
This gives a chance for PIX to come in. You good? I'll return the favor.
Okay.
So Diane, thank you as always, for joining and for the extraordinary work you do. So today is the day. Tonight, work begins in earnest, I think, weather permitting, at 9 p.m. on the long overdue and much needed reconstruction of this bridge and roadway. Let us not kid anyone. This is the very definition, the quintessential good news, bad news story. The good news is that we are making this bridge safer, stronger, and a more reliable way to commute. There's no disputing that. The bad news is that it's going to take a long time and it's going to inconvenience a great many people. I just had a chance to briefly, across the railroad tracks, see with my own eyes with the commissioner and the senior construction management team who are doing an extraordinary job. Let me just start with this and make an observation that's quite apparent if you see it up close. It's an 80-year-old bridge. It was built by some commuters' grandparents, or frankly even great-grandparents. It opened, to put this in perspective, when a young Joe DiMaggio was playing center field for the Yankees, and its age is showing. This project is getting started probably much later than it should have, but it's also getting started not a moment too soon. we cannot allow for another day of structural deterioration and another day of engineers hoping this span doesn't have a major problem. The Commissioner and DOT have been upfront and out front with the public about what this project entails and what commuters should expect through radio ads, proactive outreach to mayors and local officials, social media, and public events. When I say local officials and mayors, I want to give each of the four mayors, Mayor Ganelli, Mayor Turner, Mayor Stack, and Mayor Sacco, a shout out to them and their teams and their level of cooperation. As you all know, 495 spans 4 communities. This communication, broadly and specifically, will continue throughout this project, including the website restorenj495.com, restorenj495.com, where commuters can sign up for updates and alerts. Diane and I both understand the frustrations commuters face every day already, and the lane closures here are not going to lessen them. There's the old saying, it's always darkest before the dawn. If you're a New Jersey commuter, it may seem like we've been stuck at that moment, but I can tell you, at last, the dawn will come, and it will come through projects like this. We are going to get our infrastructure back to where it should be and where it can support and sustain our economy and our people. Modern, safe, and reliable infrastructure is central to the vision that I have for a stronger New Jersey. And we cannot ignore the critical need to repair, and in cases like this, not just repair, but rebuild vital transportation infrastructure. This bridge was not unsafe to drive on, but at a certain point you're playing with time. But it is in desperate need of repair. It's been a decade since the disastrous collapse of the I-35 bridge in Minneapolis. Look at the tragedy in Genoa, Italy, just this week. If we haven't learned anything from these experiences, or I should say, if we haven't learned anything from these experiences, if we haven't learned that we need to invest in our infrastructure, then shame on us. Traffic along this stretch has never been easy. For the next 2.5 years, it's going to be worse. There's no doubt about that. Anyone looking for a quick shortcut is going to be left disappointed. I'll reiterate what the commissioner urged a couple of days ago. Let's all take a deep breath and we'll get through this together. The simple fact is we're dealing with a transportation infrastructure network that has been neglected for too long. Long known problems, fiscal and otherwise, were patched over with a series of temporary fixes. We now have long-term solutions in place. The Transportation Trust Fund at last has sustainable and reliable funding in place so we can undertake these necessary projects. So I join the commissioner and I ask everyone to take a deep breath when traveling through this area. If we work together, we can lessen our commuting headache and we'll get through the next 30 months. We will do our part. We will make sure construction moves swiftly and safely. We have an extraordinary team on this. We will communicate problems and workarounds. We will coordinate with local governments, as I mentioned, and public safety agencies. Now here's what folks can do who are listening in and watching. Some ideas: carpool, or use mass transit wherever and whenever possible to put fewer vehicles on the roads. Consider the ferry services as part of that. The XBL exclusive bus lanes will be maintained throughout this project. If you live in Hudson County specifically, the Hudson-Bergen light rail may be an additional option. If you are going to drive, please be sure to pay attention to changes in traffic patterns, and there will be changes depending on the nature and the moment in time of the project. Also consider, obvious point, but consider using alternatives to the Lincoln Tunnel, including the Holland, George Washington Bridge, or coming through Staten Island via the Guffels. And please follow the directions of local police. And I referred to this earlier, the website. Please sign up so that you can get automatic alerts and updates. Again, it's restorenj495.com. restorenj495.com. Diane and I and our entire administration are committed to getting New Jersey right and to fixing our state for the long term. This means restoring our infrastructure to where we know it will meet the needs of residents, commuters, visitors, and everybody else who relies upon getting across and through New Jersey for their jobs and daily lives. With that, I'd like to ask our Commissioner, the Department of Transportation, Diane Gutierrez-Scocchetti, to say a few words, and I will return the favor and hold the microphone for her.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you all for coming out again today. Are you trying to say I'm short?
No, I'm trying to say these are too high. That's Channel 7. You think I care?
Okay. There we go. Everybody good?